When a non-resident is getting money from a resident through any means, then you also have to check whether there is any tax implications. So if you walk into a bank now and you want to repatriate money, then you need to provide.
Let's make a list of all those documents that are required by an NRI if they want to move money from NRO account to NRI account or maybe to their foreign bank account. Hi Sagar, welcome to Belong podcast. So this video is all about how NRIs can get out their own money without triggering any tax notice or any notice from FEMA too. The first question that I have from you is, what are the legal ways that NRIs can use to repatriate their money?
Correct. So first of all, any cross-border money movement has to be analyzed from three angles. Every time whenever you want the money to cross borders, you have to check three different things. First is FEMA. FEMA is the Foreign Exchange Management Act, which applies to everybody, whoever is doing any cross-border money movement. Now, what are the rule book? What is allowed? What is not allowed? Everything is given under FEMA. So first is you strictly follow those rules. Second is the taxability. If the money is to be taxed in India, you have to pay tax before the money actually moves borders. That is the second principle. And third is about documentation. So whatever documentation both the laws require, one is the FEMA law, second is the Income Tax Act. Whatever they need, that you have to comply with. And whom will you comply with? You will comply with your local bank who is transferring the money, because they are called the ADs, the authorized dealer. So the ADs are authorized by RBI to undertake all these transactions. So once you combine all these three steps, then you can freely move the money out of India.
Okay, got it. So how to actually comply with all these regulations? What is the right way?
Correct. So first is you analyze whether you are a resident or a non-resident as per FEMA, as per Income Tax Act, both. Because these two laws have different rules to classify you as a resident versus a non-resident. Under FEMA, once you are a non-resident, then the limits change. Basically, then you go under a different framework, which is the USD $1 million framework, wherein you can take up to $1 million worth of INR out of India. That is the first. Second is, if you're a resident, then a separate set of rules called the LRS, which is Liberalized Remittance Scheme, applies to you. So LRS is $250,000 per year per PAN, which includes minors as well. So this is for individuals taking money out of India. So first, once you analyze your residential status under FEMA, if you are a resident, you get classified under the $250,000 framework. Or if you're a non-resident, you get classified under the $1 million framework. Once you have that ready with you, then you have to check whether your accounts are compliant with these statuses or not. So for example, if you're a non-resident under FEMA, but you still hold a saving account, then that account itself is non-compliant. So first you need to convert your account to a non-resident account, which is NRO account. Then you have to start your procedure of taking the money out of India. So that's how, first you classify yourself, then you check which limit applies to you and check whether your accounts are compliant with the law for that specific purpose or not. And then you can process with the transaction.
Okay. Got it. So let's say, so if I'll assume if I want money out of India, then my parents are resident Indian and I am NRI. So I can get like a 1 million plus 250K out of India.
Yes, exactly. So from your own funds, $1 million is yes. And from their funds, from their PAN, if they are transferring it to you, then $250,000 is yes. But again, when a non-resident is getting money from a resident through any means, then you also have to check whether there is any tax implication. So there is something called as TCS, which is tax collected at source. Whenever you send money through LRS and if the amount increases more than 10 lakhs, then you have to comply with the TCS rules also. TCS means that upfront collection of tax has to be done. So which means, let's say if your parents are transferring 20 lakhs to you, first 10 lakhs is exempt because first 10 lakhs limit. Beyond that, in the next 10 lakhs, 20% will be the TCS rate, which means 2 lakhs will be deposited under their own PAN as advance tax or TCS. So effectively, you will only receive 18 lakh rupees. 2 lakhs will be deposited under their own PAN, which they can eventually set off against their other tax liabilities, or they can take a refund also. But yes, if a resident is transferring, then they have to check the taxation as well. But if a non-resident is taking out money, then there is no TCS involved.
Okay, got it. So now I have one more question. What mistakes do NRIs make while repatriating the money? Because of that, tax or FEMA notices triggered. So if you could walk us through those mistakes, it would be great.
Yeah. So, as we have already discussed earlier, first is, of course, if you have not designated your accounts correctly, if you still hold a saving account and then you walk into your bank or call them and say, I want to take $1 million out of it. Of course, they will not allow you. They'll say you are still a resident on record. So first fix your residential status as per the records. That is the first step. Once you have corrected that, once you already have an NRO account in place, then what you need to do is you need to provide all the right set of documents. There is one remittance form which is called E2 form. This form your bank will provide. You need to fill that form. Apart from that, there is a certificate. Earlier it used to be called 15CA, which is self-declaration, and 15CB, which is a CA certificate. Now these are called Form 145 and 146 under the new Income Tax Act of 2025, which are effective now from 1st April 26. So if you walk into a bank now and you want to repatriate money, then you need to provide Form 145 and 146. 146 is required only in case if the amount that you're sending is beyond 5 lakh rupees and you don't have a certificate of assessing officer giving you a special rate under which you can take the money out. So if you have a certificate of a AO already telling that, let's say 5% TDS should apply to your transaction. And if you have complied with that TDS, then you can take the money without a CA certificate. But if you are taking beyond 5 lakh rupees, which is a taxable amount, then you need a CA certificate under one form, which is Form 146. So you fill that form, upload it online. Everything is online. The entire process is digital. You upload Form 145, 146 online. I mean, 146 will be uploaded by your chartered accountant. 145 is your self-declaration, wherein you accept that 146 and you give a self-declaration that this is the money I'm transferring it to this account, and you need to fill all those details where you are actually transferring the money to. Once you fill all these details, then you can take the money out of India. Some banks may also need a source of funds certificate, what they call it. This is basically to have a detailed breakup of what is the money that is being taken out of India, just to be compliant in case if RBI asks any further questions. So CA will provide that certificate as well. This is the entire process. I mean, you give all the set of documents to them. You show them that the money, the source, everything is clean. Tax, whatever is already paid, and I'm taking it out of India. Once you satisfy your bank, then only the money can move from your NRO account to either NRI or any foreign bank account.
Okay, got it. So let's make a list of all those documents that are required by an NRI if they want to move money from NRO account to NRI account or maybe to their foreign bank account. If you could please walk us through the list, it would be great.
Yeah, the documents that I mentioned were basically a Form A2, which is a self-declaration. What is the remitter's name? What is the remittee's name? What is the bank account and all those things. Second is Form 145, which is self-declaration. Now, this will suffice if the transaction is below 5 lakh rupees in a particular financial year. So if you have multiple transactions and the total of such transactions exceed 5 lakh, then again you need 146. But if you have just a one-off transaction wherein you are only transferring 1 lakh rupee or 2 lakh rupees, then you don't need a CA certificate for that. You can just do it based on your self-declaration. Third document is your Form 146, which you will get from a chartered accountant. Now, for a chartered accountant to certify your transaction, what all he'll need is basically, if it's a sale of a property, he'll ask you for the purchase deed, the sale deed. He'll calculate the capital gains. He'll check whether advance tax is already paid or TDS is already deducted. Once that is done, then he can certify that, okay, tax is already paid. The money can be taken out of India. So that way, so to satisfy the chartered accountant, what all documents will be needed will depend on the nature of transaction or the money trail that you want to take out of India. And the fourth document is basically additional document which any bank may require. This is a source of fund certificate, and it depends entirely on the bank if they need it.
Got it. Makes sense. So in short, all these documents, do NRIs need to submit it offline or can they submit it online also?
Most of the banks do take online submission of most of these forms. Some banks may need a signed copy of a A2 form or Form 15CA earlier, now Form 145. They may need a physical copy also, which you can courier. So it's not needed that you need to physically visit the branch. But most of the banks, and specifically those banks who have international presence, they do accept online forms as well. Anyway, whatever documents a CA certifies, there is a UDIN, which is a unique document identification number affixed on that form. So it's kind of a, certification through the CA portal itself that a bank can check that really this CA has already certified this document or not. So based on that, there is no authentication required further for the forms that they are submitting as such.
Okay, okay, got it. So glad to know that a lot of forms can be submitted online and few of them can be couriered. I mean, each NRI should check with their bank. Now, I would love to talk about one more thing. Any 2, 3 rules that you want that NRIs should follow so that they can avoid the tax notices or in any FEMA notice?
Yeah. So first, as I said, if your error is in the nature of the classification of your residential status, then this can trigger a notice. Now, so that's why classifying yourself as a resident or non-resident as per FEMA or income tax is a very important step that you need to follow. I wouldn't say an income tax notice, but a FEMA notice can also get triggered for a lot of transactions. For example, recently you might have seen that many people got notice for making down payment or a EMI payment for a property purchased overseas through their debit card. Because whenever you want to send money out of India through LRS, which is the liberalized remittance scheme, you need to strictly follow the $250,000 limit. Then you need to provide all those documents to your bank. But if you straight away swipe a debit card for such a transaction, which is a capital account transaction overseas, then of course you are not complying with the law. So that ways, you have to check the legal framework properly. You should have proper documents in place. And the best way to comply is always ask your bank, because bank is the last mile of contact who will comply with RBI regulations. So they know all the regulations, then you can talk to them and satisfy their requirements, whatever documents are needed.
Okay, okay, makes sense. I mean, this is one of the interesting case that I've heard ki people use their debit card, which is linked to their resident savings account, and because of that, the tax was triggered.
Yeah, so FEMA notices got triggered to them, and
Yeah, sorry, FEMA
it's a
notice.
it's a huge penalty for doing such transactions.
Got it. Thank you so much, Sagar. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
your time. I think people will learn something from this video. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.